Does Disney's latest film capture the imagination and the storytelling genius of Disney of years past, or is this just yet one more rehash for Disney? You're watching This, That, and Theology, equipping you to apply your worldview in the world around you. For 100 years, Disney has been a source of family-friendly entertainment, although that reputation has changed in the last few years, particularly as they have added mature content to their Disney Plus streaming service and have been advocating for agendas that don't sit well with many families. As the first trailers for Disney's Wish started hitting theaters, many families wondered, is this going to be a return to Disney's storytelling? Is this something that will be appropriate for my family? Or is this just going to be more of the same? As I walked into the theater, I was asking those same questions. I'd seen the trailers, and I wondered what messaging would be found in this film. As we say many times on this channel, good storytelling doesn't just tell a story, it tells us something about who we are and the world around us. Disney's Wish certainly tries to do that. From the very beginning, with the opening storybook intro that we remember from Disney films of days past, we start seeing a story that is about a place that we might want to go. People come to the island of Rosas and bring their wish, the thing that makes them who they are, and they give it to the king, who promises to safeguard it, to protect it, and possibly even grant their wish. This is not just a wish about, I wish I had more money in my bank account. This is a wish that defines who you are, the thing that drives you, the thing that inspires you to improve yourself. Because you don't think you can do it on your own, you entrust it to the king, who is supposed to protect it, who is supposed to safeguard it, and is supposed to grant it. The main character, Asha, is hoping to be an apprentice to the king, to have access to learn from him, and even help him in his mission. But very early on, and we saw this even in the trailers, we discovered that most people don't have their wish granted. Most people will never see that. What's not clear in the trailers is that the king actually removes the memory of their wish, so they don't even know what they're missing. What we see is people who have done this as lethargic and not having energy or excitement. In fact, one character who has just given up their wish is described as boring compared to who they were before. It was really hard for me not to see a parallel between the story that we're being told in Wish and what many view as the Christian faith. As Christians, we believe that we do submit our own desires and our will to God. In fact, the Bible tells us that if we trust in the Lord with all our heart and lean not in our own understanding, that He will give us the desires of our heart. And a proper understanding of that verse says that God molds our desires so that we conform to His will, so that we bring Him pleasure, because our greatest desire will be to give Him glory. As the Westminster Confession says, in question 1, the chief end of man is to glorify God and enjoy Him forever. Our desire should be, our greatest wish should be, to bring honor and glory to our King. In Wish, however, they're saying that that's the absolute opposite of what we should be doing. By submitting to the King's will, by entrusting Him with our wishes, we're losing what makes us who we are. In fact, there's even a reference to Scripture in one of the songs where she says, the truth is supposed to set you free, but it's just a burden to me. The whole film made me feel a little attacked. I've dedicated my life to glorifying God, to teaching others how to live a life that honors God, because I truly believe that what we do here on earth matters for eternity, and our relationship with God is the most important thing that we have. According to this movie Wish, the most important thing is that we understand what our desire is, what the thing that we wish for the most is, and that we should work to make it happen. Part of the worldview that the movie is criticizing is this idea that we should just hope for someone else to grant our wish. In fact, the idea that our wishes are something that can only be granted by someone else is something this film rightly criticizes. And for a movie company that has many times talked about how our wishes need to come true from someone else, well, that's a refreshing take. Overall, as far as content goes, strictly speaking, there's not a lot to be concerned with when you show this to your kids. However, I couldn't shake the feeling that as a believer, this film was saying that what I believe in my relationship to God is the thing that is being criticized in this film. There's also some worldviews that are being put forward that kids will not get, and many adults won't either. There's this idea that we're all made of stardust, that we're actually stars. The king says that he gets his genes from the stars. This is not all that different from what some physicists say, that we're all made of star stuff, that the elements that make us who we are the result of stars themselves. The worldview of this film says that we should not rely or submit to any higher power, but that we ourselves are the power that we need. And while that certainly is true to a certain degree, we should never expect that someone from outside will make all of our wishes come true. It's important to realize that on the most important things, on the eternal things, we are entirely reliant upon a higher power. The core of the gospel is that there is nothing that we can do to save ourselves. The Christian worldview is centered on the idea that we cannot save ourselves, that there's no amount of good works that we can do to bring us in that right relationship with God. We were entirely dependent on Jesus coming down, dying on the cross to pay the price we rightfully earned by our sin. And on that end, our greatest wish, our desire to be right with our Creator, can only be fulfilled through the working of Jesus Christ, God's own Son. Especially in this Christmas season, as we're starting to look forward to the arrival of Jesus Christ, the center of the gospel, a film like this should give us pause. Not because the music isn't good, not because it's chock full of questionable material, although there are a few things that you may give pause that might just go over our kids' heads, including one blink and you'll miss it reference to coming out and cross-dressing. Overall, the film seems innocent on the front, and that's one reason why you as a parent should have pause before taking your family to see Disney's latest film offering. It's hard for me to give a review like this because I am a Disney fan. I absolutely love Disney films. I love going to the parks. I love all things Mickey, and there's plenty to love in this film regarding those things. But as I was watching this film, as much as I wanted to like it, I just walked away feeling unsettled. Hopefully this is helpful as you decide whether to take your family to see Wish for this Thanksgiving weekend as it opens. They're hoping for a great turnout, especially with some of their less than stellar movies in the last year. Stay tuned to This, That, and Theology as we continue to have film reviews and other conversations to help you have good conversations with your family as you head to the movie theater or just sit around that Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner table. Like, subscribe, and share if you haven't already, and we'll see you next time on This, That, and Theology.